All right, good morning. Thank you for stopping by if you do. So I'm going to keep this video short as it's on a slightly different topic, which is no trades. Yesterday I took no trades. And one of the things I can tell you is it comes with a lot of growth to be able to sit in your hands and wait for your planned setup to take place, just for it to never take place. So as you can look at the chart here, we're talking about yesterday where there were trades. I'm not going to say there were not trades, but in my trading window, I did not get the setup that I needed in that time frame. So if you remember, we opened up and we took this big dip under very bullish nature. Now the other day I shorted this very strong uptrend, but with a lot of evidence and clear certainty that I could get away with that trade for a decent sized profit very quickly. Yesterday was very volatile. It was wicky. If you're down on the 1, 2, and 5 minute, you'll see that it had a lot of consolidation. It was having a tough time finding direction and momentum. And when you can't get momentum, and if you're a scalper / momentum day trader, it can be real iffy if you get in. If you do get in, you're probably getting in and getting knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4 times in a row before maybe your setup finally happens, which I can show you that probably happened for many traders. I, on the other hand, just sat and waited and never took a trade. The trades really were toward the end of the day. I mean, with as bullish as we are, I knew that we were going to have, I was actually anticipating a breakdown to a particular level. What I wanted was the sweep of the overnight low, which was right here at 535. And we only ever came down to 567. So realistically, I was only about 30 points waiting for all of this to take place, waiting from 785 to 567. I wanted to see this overnight low sweep and then move in this direction, which it did, but it did it without ever sweeping it. So I just had to wait, and then eventually I called it a day. If you jump down now and we start looking at the 15 looked pretty good. I mean, you can see the EMAs are all jumbled up. This is a great time to really be using your value areas, just because at this point it is downtrending against the larger uptrend. But on the smaller time frame, 1, 2, you probably could have taken some scalps, buying the lows and selling the highs. If we go down a little bit further on the 5, you'll see the big play right here was this drop. I physically watched this drop happen before my eyes and just sat there. It looked decent. I can tell you this green candle right here was a rejection off the initial balance low. You did have the crossover on the EMAs. The one issue I would say is that if you look back real quick, went too far, the 15 on up, EMA-wise, was still bullish. So only on the 5 and the 1, 2, which were also getting mixed up. Oftentimes the 1, 2 was bullish and the 5 was bearish, or the 1, 2 was bearish and the 5 was bullish. I mean, and if you looked at the book map, the cumulative volume delta was would be high in the negative, and then the delta would be high in the green. It was just a mess. Everything was just a mess. Everything was a bit of a risk if you took it. But the trade of the day, which I again did not take, would have been seeing this breakdown here. You're making lower highs. You come back up, you test that initial balance low, the 30-minute low of the day, and then you flush. Your best bet would have been going up and entering off of the EMAs. So this is a case where you really gotta be strong, and you gotta be quick, and you cannot be hesitant. Another thing I'll say is, with me not taking any trades because I didn't see my setup, I didn't feel on point yesterday. So I didn't feel like I was quick on the draw. I almost felt a little foggy. And so I was really waiting for an obvious setup, which can often take place. But yesterday you just had to be fast. You had to be prepared. And I wasn't there. So I had to sit on my hands. When this came down, it flushed. And then once it broke, I mean, this wick here, when it was a solid bar, it happened I think, within 20, 30 seconds. It was about a 70-point drop. And then it held. It came all the way down. It swept yesterday's low, which was great. I wanted to see the sweep of the overnight before it came back up. And I was looking for longs all day. I was waiting for it to come down, kind of have a look and failure to the bottom, and then come back up. But by the time it was, I mean, I'm way gone from the terminals at this point. So the highlight of this video is, if you have a plan and you stick to it and you don't let your emotions override you, don't feel bad. Yes, I missed a 70 point trade yesterday that I witnessed happen. I saw it reject the IVL. I saw it go down. I was waiting for that look and failure anyway, so I was anticipating a break to the downside. But what I look for to line up to take a trade, it wasn't all there. And I was watching really just people get knocked out on a lot of these wicks, either to the upside or mainly to the downside, trying to anticipate this break that eventually happened, but it took all morning. So no trades for me. And so today, at the very least, right, I'm not in the positive from yesterday, but I'm definitely not in the negative. So that's not a bad thing. And if you sat in your hands yesterday, don't feel bad. If you ever sit in your hands and you don't take a trade, don't feel bad. If your setup isn't there, feel good that you were strong enough, disciplined enough to not take the trade. Every day is a new day, and every day you can find those points that you need. Now, going in today real quick, it is very early yet. One thing that we can take note of is that the value area in this shaded box here is the first time in quite some time now that we actually fell below. So all of these boxes will represent previous value areas, and they're all above one another except for yesterday's. Yesterday was the first time where it fell below the previous day. Now in the overnight, we are retesting that area. We're back in Friday's range, value area and range. We're probably going to be testing all-time highs again here very soon. So today, since we're not really getting good look and fails, as I was anticipating down here at the 535 section, initially I would be looking at if we get a look and fail to the high side, right? If we squeeze up, we want support above the all-time high and to keep moving. Or do we look and fail and get another pullback? And if we get that pullback, where do we go? Well, I would still be testing this unresolved overnight low over here. That would be a grand trade if we can get it. But initially, you just want to look at your initial overnight lows, which right now, we're just down here at just below yesterday's value area high, around 26,750. So it is bullish in nature still. We are above yesterday's value area high as of 6:30 this morning. We are above yesterday's high of day. Actually, no, we're not. Oh, yeah, we're above yesterday's high of day, but we're not above the all-time high, which is the weekly value area high, by the way, from last week. So we are bullish. We're likely going to be testing all-time highs. Be patient. Wait for the reaction. Wait for that support and or rejection. To the high side, I would target, without anything up here, 0s, 20s, 50s, and 80s. Scale out at those points there. And then on the downside, wait for that trend reversal. I mean, right now the hour is super strong. We wouldn't have a real good downside day until minimally, I would say, the EMAs are broken on the hour. So we'd have to at least break this overnight low and still reject to go down. Otherwise, I'm looking long. And the great thing about all-time highs is that oftentimes when they break, they squeeze. So if you are on the long side, you can find your good support with managed risk. You should pretty easily be able to score some good points today. But be careful, be cautious. Do note that the value area is the first time it has broken beneath the previous day. So let's see what happens later this morning going into the day. And good luck. Hopefully I've got some trades to recap for tomorrow, and we'll see you then.